This is like the latest social media craze that I wanted to talk about, and it is fridgescaping.
Yeah, I hadn't heard the term. I know what it is, and I will note that I always just thought that this was my own refrigerator OCD, but
So
you
you've been
exposed me.
fridgescaping way before it was
I was
cool.
doing it way before it was cool. When I had roommates in college, I had specific areas of the fridge that were mine because everything has its
You were
place.
such a fun roommate, I'm sure.
I let's just say, yeah, I had to learn some things about living with other people. Only child, definitely had to figure some stuff out in college.
Shocking that the other college bros were not interested in your fridgescape.
Yeah, they were not fascinated by how optimized my refrigerator stuff was. But yeah,
Well,
you showed me there's
fridgescaping.
levels of fridgescaping that are far beyond my neurotic tendencies.
I feel like I remember this for the first time when I was watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, of course, and the way their fridge was so meticulously organized and beautified and systematized, and they had cute little containers for every single little thing that they had. Anyways, I guess I should define fridgescaping. So this is a little bit where our generational divide starts to creep up,
Hmm.
is I am like young Gen Z millennial cusp, and you're
Deep in
few
the
years older.
millennial
We
heart.
won't say.
I think I'm
Um,
5. I'm not sad. I'm 5 years older than you, right?
Something like that.
I'm cool. I'm hip.
You're cool. Anyways,
I'm a neat guy.
who loves to fridgescape? So fridgescaping is basically it's making your fridge aesthetic, and it's been a big social media craze because people are loving sharing their beautified fridgescapes. But the reason I wanted to talk about this as a nutrition related social media topic is because I actually love this idea. Now, does your fridge need to be perfectly aesthetic? Do you need, a bouquet of flowers and water in your fridge to make it look absolutely beautiful? Do you need things hanging on the side of your fridge for beautification? Probably not. But what I do like
If
about
it
it,
makes you happy.
if it makes you happy, by all means, by all means. But I love thinking about your fridge practically. We talked about environment design a few times
Yeah.
on this podcast. Environment design just meaning setting up your environment for success. So one environment that you have some control over most likely is your fridge, right?
Yeah.
So let's set up our fridge to make the healthier choices easier by maybe we're rinsing our berries and keeping them in a bowl, or maybe we are keeping the healthier stuff more front and center. The stuff that we're trying to eat more of, we're trying to keep that front and center so that we're more likely to reach for it, or making it in a more accessible container and maybe even a more aesthetic container because it makes it more fun. So I personally am here for fridgescaping. I love it. What are your thoughts?
It makes me think of that one meme where it's like the frozen to death frog stuffed animal, and the caption is like my broccoli looking at me pulling out my ice cream container at 11:30. But you're absolutely right. There's a heuristic called WASADI. It's by David Kahneman, and it stands for what you see is all there is. And it's meant to explore the bias that is our limitation based on our life experience. But that is something that actually outside of that broader scope has a zoomed in version, which would be a proximity bias, which is to say when you open your fridge, what you see is what your brain will attach to. When you open your pantries, what you see is what your brain will attach. So when we recognize that if the only vegetables that exist are deep in the freezer and you don't open the freezer daily, you're probably not going to eat vegetables. There's a fair correlation there. If the vegetables are in the vegetable drawer, but they're required to be rinsed, cut, prepared, there are too many steps. And so, of course, you're going to grab the thing that's in the package that you tear apart. So there's definitely some validity to the idea of if you want to eat more fruits and vegetables, the access of them, which means obtaining them from the grocery store with regularity, preparing them and putting them in a place that is accessible to you so that when you're in a hurry in the middle of your day, they actually are an option. If you are somebody listening to this and there have been times where you've opened the fridge and your brains goes, oh, I should eat some fruits and veggies, I don't have time. That is something that needed to be done ahead of time. And that is, we hear, especially in our fast-paced convenience society, why we eat a lot of packaged foods. It's really just the convenience of it. People don't want to take those next steps. So what I'll note is if you're not willing to, maybe you need to pay a little bit of extra if you can to do the pre-prepared stuff. You can have the pre-chopped vegetables to the tune of an extra dollar. You can have those types of things that help. But yes, if you can make it so that the simplest example I'll give, this is one that I've realized for me that works. I typically buy pineapple, blueberries, raspberries every week. And if they all sit in their individual containers in the produce drawer, they get eaten much less than if when I get home, I rinse them and I put them in a container together.
Mm-hmm.
And they get eaten even more if I then, after I've rinsed them and mixed them, I put them into 5 containers.
Mm-hmm.
So those 3 versions, the fruit that is in my fridge versus the fruit that is in a big container in my fridge versus the fruit that is in 5 containers in my fridge, increases my consumption from once a week to maybe twice a week to literally 5 times a week.
Yeah. You can do this with your kids too, encouraging your kids by like, and I'll talk to parents and kids together about this, especially the teens, because they're going so quickly in the morning. They're just like grabbing something out of the fridge and going. So what is the easiest thing to grab? Think about that. We're trying to decrease friction with the habits that you're trying to build and increase friction with the things that you're trying to avoid. So it makes sense to me. But here we have it, the original Fridgescaper. Yeah.
Do you want to know one of my toxic traits?
Always.
If I'm at a friend's house and I have to go into their fridge for any reason to like get something out, when I put it back, it's really hard for me not to like organize a little bit, because people just like put stuff in their fridge like anarchists. It's just like you open the fridge and it's just everything all over the place. The cilantro next to the milk, next to the butter. I'm like, there's a flow to this. And I'm old enough to realize that that's very much a me problem, but
you must get invited to a lot of dinner parties.
I do, but it's because I resist the urge. If I did that, I probably wouldn't anymore. I'm learning my edges.
Oh my gosh. Well, there we have it, Fridgescaping. It's a yes from both of us.
I would agree.
Take it.
I think it's worth taking time to, you said it well, optimize your fridge situation, set it up so the things you want to be eating every day are as easy to grab as possible. Totally. And there are so many ways that as dietitians, we are the troubleshooter, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone always says, I know what to do. I just need to do it. Dietitians aren't here to tell you what to do. We're here to help you navigate how to do it. These are examples of the how. Yeah. In real time. It's okay, your goal is to eat more produce, but we find that the produce you buy is in the freezer, and so it's 3 steps away from your plate instead of the Kind bar in the pantry. So why do we think you're choosing the Kind bar? That's why. How do we get it closer to you? And there's a bunch of ways to do that. It doesn't just have to be chopping, prepping, and refrigerating. There are portable options. The list goes on and on. I won't fractal down that stream, but that is just a note of what we do very well is we help people navigate food so that it's more accessible, and as a result, it increases their consistency of consumption.
Totally. It's why I like prep like a quinoa salad and keep it in the fridge so I can just yank it out come lunchtime and add a protein to it, and there you are. We're ready to go.
Yeah.
Love it. Cool. Fridgescaping. And if you want to share your fridgescapes with us, please do. Share on Instagram, tag us. I want to see everyone's fridgescapes.
Yeah, we can definitely have a story of just fridgescapes.
Now I want to go home and fridgescape. That goes the rest of the day.
My fridgescape is always fridgescaped, but it's a little empty lately.
Will you post a picture of your fridge later today?
I'll think about it. I don't know if I want the world to see that part of me yet.
We're supposed to be vulnerable here. That's what we do.
I'll think about it.
All right. I'll remind you later.